Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. My name is Lucas, and today we're going to be talking about choosing free fonts for your web design project. So whether you are, building a portfolio and need some really cool fonts for some of your project pages, or you're building for a client and they don't want to pay for any fonts, but you still want the project to look really nice and clean, this is the perfect video for you to kind of have a good idea of how the process goes of choosing a good font, from inspiration to knowing the different types of fonts out there, to learning how to combine these different fonts and so on and so forth, right? And this is a video that has been requested from a couple of people in my community, because they usually work with tools like Relume in Figma, or they work with tools like frame blocks in Framer, right? Component libraries. And a lot of these component libraries bring standard fonts. So I'm here in Relume and I'm looking at the hero headers. And as you can see, it does look pretty clean, but it looks very, very basic, right? We want to add some flair. We want to add some character to these fonts. So let's go back to our presentation and let's go ahead and start. Well, the first thing that I do is I do some inspiration. I do some mood boarding. I look at other types of websites out there that I do like a lot. And what I do is if I go to Chrome, I go to websites like the Framer Gallery, where you can see really nice new websites built in Framer. And I go here specifically because most of these websites are built using Google Fonts, which is what we're going to be using today to look for free premium fonts, right? So a lot of these websites use Google Fonts. I found this one, for example, that does use Google Fonts. I believe it's built with Framer. And what I do is I click on Inspect, and I use this little tool up here, and I just go over this. So this is using Formula Condensed Bold. This one is also using Formula Condensed Bold. This one is using PP Neue Montreal Bach. Maybe these aren't, free fonts, but at least I'm getting an idea of what it's called. So a good way to check for these free fonts is seeing, okay, this is called Formula Condensed Bold. We can go to Figma and I can just, choose one of these and I can go Formula. Okay, it's not here, right? So it's a paid font. But we can go ahead and look at another project. Let's say this one. Well, maybe that looks maybe this one. Benny's website, and click on Inspect and see, okay, this is Geist Variable. I think this is also paid font. So maybe this is not the best way of looking. Maybe we can look for some templates. So let's go Framer template, because most of these templates, even though they're paid, they have free fonts because they don't want, the user to download a new font, right? So let's check out this template. Click on Preview and click on Inspect. And we can see, yeah, this is outfit placeholder. Outfit. So outfit is a Google font. So we can go back here and again, just choose one of our fonts from here, outfit, and you can see this is a Google font, right? So this is the first way of how I do it. I search for some inspiration and look for some fonts that are for free that I can, double check with Figma or with Framer and kind of see, okay, this font is available, I can use it. So again, free fonts versus paid fonts. There are a lot of free fonts out there, and I'm going to show you kind of how to, other than just looking at live websites, how else you can go ahead and search these up. But there's also paid fonts like we saw here, right? These are paid fonts, Formula Condensed. So we can search that Formula Condensed font. And you can click on here and it kind of opens the landing page. So you can see, okay, this is kind of how it looks like, right? It's kind of condensed and you can try it out, right? You can increase the size, lower the size, adjust the letter spacing, and then you can buy it. I think it was like, what, $30 or $450 for the whole family, right? And I also saw this one from the Tesla website. We can click on inspect and hover over this Universal Sans Display. So we can search that as well. Universal Sans Display font. Go here and we can see that it is a paid font. If we scroll all the way down, £75. Again, you can test it out for your own sake. You can type different things. And then there's other things like the font, right? Where they have maybe the Universal Sans, but not the whole family. Or maybe they have something else that's has the same name, but it's, so for example, this has the personal use, right? You're not allowed to use it for commercial use. So the font is also a great way of looking for different fonts, but again, you have to download these and they're not available directly in Figma or in Framer, which goes to my next topic, which is Google Fonts. So let's go back to our little presentation. Google Fonts. Google Fonts is the place to go where when you're looking for these fonts to work with, right? If we go back to Chrome, I close this. This is kind of how it looks like. We can search for fonts. You can sort by trending or most popular. So most popular, again, if we go here, popular Google fonts, we have Arial, we have Roboto, we have Montserrat, Poppins, Interlato, Manrope. And then in the bottom row, we have Meriwether, Codex, DM Serif Display, Baskerville, and PT Serif. So on the top row, they look a little bit more modern. And in the bottom row, they look a little bit more like in this Times New Roman type of style, which is called serif fonts. So these are serif fonts. You have these little, basically serifs at the end of the character that stick out. So Playfair Displayer, Gilda Display, Marcellus is slightly a serif font, but it is. And basically in Google Fonts, what you can do is you can filter that out. So you can search for serif fonts. And this is basically all I do when I use Google Fonts. I just filter. I start off by filtering either all serifs or all sans serifs. So these are all sans serif. And basically going back to our presentation, sans serif is without these serifs. Sans meaning without in French, sans serif fonts. And these are some of the serif fonts that I like. And see, these are some of the sans serif fonts that I like to use, just simple sans serif fonts, right? There's other ones that I'm going to show you right now that I like a little bit more, but that's that. And basically, yeah, you can just toggle this and scroll down here and check to see these different sans serif fonts, right? Now let's go back here. So the next thing is these Grotesque fonts. They're also sans serif fonts, but these are fonts that I think are a little bit more premium. I don't know, I've used them in several projects and I've seen them in other projects online and I really like their style. So for example, Bricolage Grotesque is very beautiful. It has like this, kind of mix between serif and sans serif. Also like this kind of, futuristic kind of touch to it. Space Grotesque, Shipstead Grotesque, Hankin Grotesque. I really like this, Grotesque line of fonts. And I first discovered this Bricolage Grotesque in this website, Ship Fast by Mark Levon. And basically, if you inspect, what I did was inspect, and I saw, okay, this is Bricolage Grotesque. I really like this font. It's kind of, it's not so average and it's nice. It has a nice touch. It kind of looks like a paid font because it has this little touch of personality to it, right? And you don't really see it everywhere. Maybe you're going to start seeing it more and more, but in this Grotesque family, so if I go back to Figma, in this Grotesque family, if we were to go here and click on Grotesque, you can see that there's different types of Grotesque. This is a place where I really like to see, and even all caps, it looks pretty cool. Now the next thing we want to see is font pairing. So how do you know, okay, let's say that you like a font. Let's say that we like this Bricolage Grotesque font, like Shipfast has, right? This one. So how do we know what other font to choose apart from this one? So we like this one, but we don't really have a good definition of a secondary font or for our body, right? Or for our paragraph font. So let's go back here to Google Fonts and let's search for Bricolage Grotesque. And let's click on this. And here, Google basically gives us a nice little landing page to kind of understand the font a little bit more. So it's under the sans serif neo grotesque font category. It has this technology variable to it. So it has like this techie vibe, right? Like I was saying before, it kind of looks like futuristic, techie, has a calm feeling and a playful feeling. Playful because you can see there's like a little bit of curvature here, right? So it gives us this playful feeling. Like in these paid font websites, Google Fonts also gives us the ability to adjust the styles of these fonts and the headings, the sizing, just to kind of see. We can also put like, this is a test. You can put your own headline here just to test that out. And then it gives you the different weights. So you can choose semi-bold or bold or whatever you kind of want. You can click on the About up here and kind of read more about this specific font. You can see that it kind of started as a fork of this Mayan Sans font, right? And you can see kind of it's like a more extreme version of this. And you can read a little bit more about it. An open source sans, okay? It evolved by reinforcing cues from French sources and British sources. So you can read a little bit more about this specific font. And the smaller optical sizes become more neutral and reflective of contemporary sans serif, notably through the use of exaggerated ink traps. So it blends iconic British and French designs with modern trends and tools. It aims to traverse a complex typographical and emotional landscape. So it brings this emotional touch to it. So this I really like to use this About section over here to kind of show clients as to why I'm using this font when it comes to like a smaller client that doesn't really have a branding, right? So this is a really good place to kind of link to kind of show them and learn more about this specific font. But if you want to find something that is, you know, specific to this font that kind of works well, you can start by clicking these different categories that fit with Bricolage Grotesque. You can click this technology one. So for example, Roboto or Open Sans would work well. And we can kind of test out the waters over here. So I have these different fonts and we can go ahead and try to check that out. So we have this one, we can use Bricolage Grotesque. And then here we can put something like Roboto, right? And this is how it would look like. Or we can put, what was the other one? Open Sans. So we can go like this, Open Sans. And this one actually kind of looks a little bit better than Roboto. It's not so stretched out vertically, but more a little bit horizontally, like the Bricolage Grotesque type. So yeah, this is basically how I would do this font pairing. Now, the next topic is font combining. So shout out to the people that I found this on. I found these images on X. I don't know who they are from, but I kind of create like a little screenshot collection of different designers. But Outright and Outlined, whoever designed this, shout out to you guys, beautiful. But as you can see, if you zoom into this text, you can see plan your next outride with us. Stylish edits that make you exceptional. So these are, this is a little bit of font combining. You can see that there's a sans serif font here, and then there's a kind of serif font, but it's italic. That's the next thing, italic fonts. So we have, for example, here Shipstead Grotesque, which is, one of these grotesque fonts, but it looks like a completely other font because it's italic now. And the same with DM Serif Display. So this is basically combining sans serif fonts with italic serif fonts, and you can create nice little hero sections that highlight a specific phrase or a specific word. You can also use a different type of color for this, right? So this is just an example. This is just a piece of text using some type of different font to highlight this slide, right? And then as you can see, this different font has a nice little gradient to it. So the next thing is script fonts. I don't know if this is the last slide. Yeah, this is the last slide. Script fonts. I'm personally not a big fan of script fonts. I don't really use them. I use them sometimes. So I create my, thumbnails, and I use caveats sometimes to like write over things, like to show some type of handwritten type of font, right? I've also used in the past Great Vibes. I think it was Great Vibes or Tangerine. This one looks a little bit more familiar. I one time about 4 years ago during COVID, I think, I made a website, a marketing website for a jewelry store in a small town in Germany. And we used this Tangerine font to highlight certain sections of the website in a very small way in a gold color, right? So it looked pretty nice. So yeah, that's basically it. That's script fonts. So basically that's my whole little presentation that I made for you guys. My goal was just to show you, the process of choosing free fonts for your web design project. So going from inspiration, looking at different websites, going to places like the Framer template library or the Framer gallery, and clicking on the inspect tool, looking at these different fonts. Okay, this one is this one is that one. You can also go to other places. I use this landing folio to look at nice designs. We can look at, for example, this one, perspective funnels, and go ahead. This one is a little bit more simple, but you can also go ahead and just do this Inter. This is the Inter font. This is also Inter, right? So going from inspiration to understanding that there's free fonts and paid fonts, free fonts being with Google Fonts, and Google Fonts, you have the whole collection here in Figma and also in Framer. It's linked to Framer as well. And having a good understanding of the popular Google fonts and having a good understanding of more premium fonts. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this little video. It was quite informative. If you have any more questions, if you want to dive deeper into a specific topic, we can dive a little bit deeper into maybe paid fonts if you want. Just let me know on how to do that if you want to learn more about that. But anyways, guys, hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye.